Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk, the Todd Worsham Show. So, today's show is going to be politically non-political. So, I'm calling it the State of the Union. There's just so many things going on right now that I just can't keep quiet. Gotta ask some questions and voice my opinion and see what you guys think. Not always right, but freedom of speech is my opinion. And I'm not always right, and I'm always apt to change my mind, or always out looking for new views or different views. Or I'm pretty open-minded. So our country's kind of messed up right now. Things just seem to be completely backwards. It seems like instead of we the people, it is them the government. And I'm getting really sick and tired of the government telling us what to do, implementing all these things and telling us how we're supposed to feel and what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to vote. And the biggest one of all that I'm probably going to focus on a little bit mostly today, depends to how far my ADHD kicks in, but is division. Because the government is supposed to be working for us. We are supposed to guide the government, and we are supposed to tell the government what we need and what we want. We are supposed to tell the government what laws to implement, and we are supposed to tell the government how to regulate and to follow through with those laws in how our country runs. So, several things. Division, in my mind, is probably the hugest culprit. George Washington himself was quoted saying that a two-system party would divide the country and destroy it. Here we are, 250 years later, divided party, our country is being destroyed. And why we're all just sitting back and letting it happen, and why we're getting used to this, and why we are not fighting for our God-given rights is beyond me. The things that are happening today in our country are, in my opinion, 100% unacceptable. A lot of things. And the division, in my mind, I think is one of the biggest things. So you have left wing and you have right wing. Okay. Why do we have to have any wing? Why can't we have the whole chicken? So I just don't get it. And if you listen to both sides, which I do, I like to get my news, and I think I've stated this several times before, from third-party non-political entities, Epic Times, The Guardian, and I can't think of the name of the other one, but I think it's called 1440. But there's a handful of news organizations out there that are doing exactly what the media is supposed to do, and that is to keep the government in check. And I don't know if you've heard of Tom Fenton, but he's really good. He does that all the time, and he files lawsuits against the government to release documents to show exactly what the government's doing. And he wins most of them. And he's always having documents released, and he's posting it online. And you can go out there, and if you don't know who he is, I highly recommend that you Google him and go to his news website. And it's pretty informative. And he's not a right wing or left wing. He's kind of like me. He's more constitutionalist and believes in the Constitution. So division, like I said, you're either right wing or you're left wing. You can't. It seems like if you're in the middle, you're like you're a mutant. You're a mutant Ninja Turtle. But that's where I am. I don't stand for either one of them. I believe the whole political system is completely corrupt, and it doesn't matter. It it doesn't matter what side that you're on, because they're all corrupt, all of them, and they're not working for us. If we would just get back to our state constitutions, our federal constitution, and we would vote in representatives that represent the people, and that's a lot of it's our fault. And it's kind of hard to fight the system. I get it, and I understand it, especially when so much money is being thrown out, behind politics, lobbyists, corporations, which, in my opinion, should have no say or no word on anything in our governmental system. Nothing. There's no way that, I'll just throw some companies out there: Boeing, Walmart, GE, whatever the companies are. These big, huge corporations should not be able to donate a dime to anything political at all. Zero. And there should be no lobbyists. In my opinion, the corruption comes from the gobs and gobs of money that's out there. So if you have a company that, wants the government to buy their product or whatever, they bribe, maybe not straight out bribery, but they sugarcoat, and they promise all these things, and they, make their lives better, easier, and they do all kinds of things to convince people to go down a path which they should not be going down. And part of that's our fault, we the people. I know in the last few election cycles, I have done a lot more due diligence and doing a lot more research on people who I vote for before I vote. I do have to say that this last cycle I failed with the judges, because I really didn't comprehend how many judges there are in a city or a state like Arizona. I had no idea there was like 80 of them that you have to vote on. And I have no idea where they stand, what their records are, or anything. And I got really frustrated because I waited too long to start doing the research. So I'm changing that. I'm going to start doing research throughout the year and keep tabs on certain judges to see how they prosecute and what their records are and stuff like that. So another form of division that you see is the media. And it doesn't matter whether you watch Fox News, Newsmax, CNN, MSDNC. It doesn't matter. If it's mainstream, it's all based on fear mongering. The right side keeps telling you that they're going to take away your guns, which that can't happen, because that would take an amendment to the Constitution, which would take 35 states to make an amendment. And if you really honestly believe that 35 states are going to agree to taking away your arms, then you're truly living in a different world. Because I can tell you almost all the states between California and New York will not do that. It ain't happening. So I don't even listen to that argument, and I don't worry about it. Now, they are trying to implement laws that are against the Constitution. Basically, the only thing we can really do about that is try to take it to the Supreme Court and overturn those laws. Abortion is another division. I don't understand how I don't get how murdering a child has anything to do with your body rights. If you have body rights and you want your body rights, then don't get impregnated. It's pretty simple. There's all kind of contraceptives. They're everywhere. You can get them in Circle K. You can get them from your doctor. There's abstinence. You don't have to have sex. I mean, there's other ways, but to just flat out want to kill people, I don't know. I have problems with that. So I guess I'm on that part of the argument. I don't believe in mass murdering people, especially. Well, it's kind of ironic because it's mostly black people that are being genocided by abortion, and the black population is the biggest contributor and the biggest supporter of like Planned Parenthood, whose founder openly admits in her bio that her mission in life is to genocide minorities. It's right in there. You can go to her website and you can read it yourself. It's pretty flippin' crazy. And I think what's crazier than that is people don't take the time out just to do like 10 minutes worth of research. I mean, it doesn't take long to find out this information. It's right out there, and she's never held back on it. So abortion is another huge, division. And of course, probably the number one on the left side, mainstream media, is racism, which I don't know if I want to get into that topic, but it is an absolute form of division to put one group of people against another. And I don't care what group it is. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into all the, name calling and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter what group it is. Anytime that you create a wedge between peoples, you're creating division and you're creating hate. You're fear mongering one side against another, and both sides of the aisle are totally in bed with this. I mean, two wings, one chicken, right? Oh, excuse me. I thought I got rid of that. At any rate, so it's my opinion that we stop falling into these stereotyping and stop falling into these divisions and look at things for what they really are. I mean, 10 million people coming across our border. How does that help the United States of America? How are we supposed to pay for this? How is this supposed to better our quality of life? I've asked those questions, and I can't realistically answer them because I don't see a solution. I really don't. Now, I have nothing wrong with legal immigration. Part of my family is from another country due to World War II. My grandfather met my grandmother in Australia during the war. So they got married, legal migration. Great. My grandmother was a very, 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 very productive and very moral and very ethical person. She was a contributor to this country. She was an awesome person. She was incredible. And where does the division stop? I mean, how do we find a way to stop dividing ourselves? So I make it a point that when I'm out in public, which is not as much as I'd like to be, but I do get out on the weekends, and I intermingle with people of all races and colors and religions. I'm a curious type person. I like to know and understand people. Doesn't matter who you are. Random people are always the best. I'm the kind of person that goes grocery shopping and comes back 4 hours later with like 3 things because I probably stopped and talked to like 5 people. And the one thing I've learned from all that is we really aren't divided as much as our mainstream media, both right and left wing, it doesn't matter, as much as they tell us we are. So it makes me scratch my head, and I think, well, if we're really not that different and we really all have the same basic values, why is all this stuff happening, and why are we letting it happen? I just don't get it. It's a head scratcher for me because 99% of all the people I come in contact with all agree upon certain things. Murder is bad, shoplifting is bad, rape is bad, lying is bad. I mean, we all have these same values, whether you're, religious or you're not. And for all of you who watch my show, you know what my opinion is on religion. It's another division. But we all seem to have these same basic core values. But yet when we go to vote, we don't seem to vote on those values. We don't really seem to do the research to see who has those values that we have. And it's really getting me frustrated because it shouldn't be a Democrat or Republican thing. It should be a we the people thing. It should be you and me. We should be casting our votes for individuals that we believe are going to do the right thing. And I just don't understand how people keep voting to keep our borders open. It doesn't even make any sense. I mean, I don't get it. And it's that issue alone is creating, I think that's going to be the number one issue in the 2024 election is going to be the border. It's going to be the border and the economy. Because the economy is another thing that we're really divided on, because you have half these people who are making tons of money from all the money printing and all the digital money. And we have the other half of us, like me, the blue collar, people who are, for lack of better sense, we're slaves, but we don't know it. I mean, let's get real. If you get up and you go to work and you clock in every day and you come home, eat dinner and sit on the couch, you're a freaking slave. You're a slave to the system, to the matrix. I mean, you have no life. You don't live your life. You don't do anything. So, okay, so what? You're not on a cotton field picking cotton, but you're still a slave to the system. Yes. I don't know. That's just how I look at it. I don't think life was intended to be that way. Maybe that's why I don't know. I don't get along with a lot of people in my family because they don't understand me, because I don't fall into that cookie cutter matrix. I like to go do things. I don't I do think about consequences, but I don't worry about them too much because I don't do anything that would ever hurt anybody. I do my best not to lie to anybody. I do my best to be the best person I could be every day. I would say I work on it, but I really don't have to work on it because it's in my nature. I mean, I'm a happy-go-lucky, happy person, and I like when people are happy. I love to see people smile, and I'd like to spread that around. I like. I always make people laugh. I'm the class clown. So stop dividing each other. I mean, we need to come together, and there shouldn't be any black, white, this or that, or, it just shouldn't be that. We're earthlings. We're all put here on the planet together, no matter where our ancestors came from. They came here and they put us here. And we have the ability to coincide and coexist in harmony. We have that. We have that natural compassion. We have that natural empathy. We have all those things. But what's happening today in our society is completely unacceptable. The crime. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Go down to the local Circle K. Do it. How many people are standing out in front panhandling? How many people are sleeping in the parking lot? How many people are homeless? How many people, are disconnected? I mean, And then I haven't been back to California in a long time, but I mean, I've seen the videos of San Francisco and LA, and it's mind-boggling how our elected officials can do this to the people that they represent. And what's even more mind-boggling to me is that the residents of that state keep voting in the same people who keep creating the same results and completely destroying their citizens. I don't get it. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? I don't know, but I've made it up in my mind to start this podcast, for one, to try to inform people, to try to just talk about issues, and and I throw in some stuff, Edgar Casey, Anunnaki, and octopus. I like to throw some informational stuff in there, but I mean, let's get real. I mean, why are we so divided? I really would like all of you to take a couple of minutes out and seriously, honestly, be honest with yourself and ask yourself, why are we so divided? Why? And then ask yourself, what can you do to help dissolve that division? Me, myself, I like to talk to people. And I know that when I do that, 99% of the time, that when, like, for example, a black person or Hispanic or, someone who's not of my race or whatever, I don't know. I hate all this crap. But anyway, someone who's not like me, someone from a different culture or whatnot, I love talking to those people. And it's really cool because 90% of the time when we walk away from each other, we both realize that we have far more in common than we have in uncommonness. And I think if we do that more, a lot of this will go to the wayside. But we just have to start taking control of ourselves. We need to start taking control of our government. We need to downsize it. We need to put it in its place. This is just my opinion. I mean, this is my personal opinion. I do not believe the United States of America should be ran by the government, because I don't know where it says that anywhere. It's not in the Bill of Rights. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in the papers of the Federalist Papers. It's not written anywhere that I've ever seen. If it is, send me a comment. Prove me wrong, because I'd like to see that, because I have not seen it anywhere. It's just, to my knowledge, it doesn't exist. So let's focus on our commonalities. Let's get along better. And I don't know how we could do this, but if there was a way to get rid of the two-party system, I highly recommend and highly suggest that we do it. It would be so awesome. It would be just great if the local people could vote for a local person as a representative and send that person to the federal government to represent those people. And there should be no monetary advantage of doing that. None. You should collect a decent, normal wage like everybody else, have decent, normal medical benefits like everybody else, and you should have a 401k or do your investment like everybody else. In my opinion, being a representative shouldn't give you extra privileges above anybody else, any other citizen in the country. Just the sheer fact that you are a representative should be enough for that. That in itself should be prideful. It should be exemplary. It should be a gift. and it should be treated as such. You should be thankful that the people have chosen you. That doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I've watched politics my whole life, and people they get into the system and they mean well, but as soon as they get to Washington, their ethics and morals go straight out the window. Gone. Bye. And the next thing you know, the lobbyists are in there and oh yeah, well, if you let us move to Arizona, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna buy this and we'll pay for this, and it's just, you know, but how does that help the people? So I believe if representatives aren't doing things to better their constituents, then they should not be in office, period. And the president himself, herself, should be of the people. It should not be of Facebook or of General Motors or, you know, Ford or whatever. It shouldn't be due to all these monies. I firmly believe that if we took all the money out of politics, all of it, and brought it back to being a true representative of your constituents, I believe that we can change the system and put it back, and we can downsize the government, because the government should not be paying your bills. First of all, you shouldn't have any bills. Our economy shouldn't be so fucked up that we have to live off of credit and then we have to bury ourselves. Our system should be where you save your money and you pay things in cash and you own them. Right now, as of today, I believe the last number I heard is Americans are in $1.3 trillion in debt. That's insanity. How? I do have debt a little bit, but I do my damnedest. If I use a credit card, I pay it off. I'm not paying interest. I save my money and I pay things in cash. I don't, I mean, I get it because the cost of living and pay doesn't keep up with the inflation rate. And I get all that. But a lot of that goes to another subject I'm not going to get onto right now, but it goes into our monetary system, which is totally, completely fucked up. It's I can't even get into that right now. I don't even have enough time for that. But our monetary system is not working the way it's supposed to. We need to just take back our country. We really need to take back our country. Let's just start. And the biggest advice I have for everybody, and I know this is not divisional, but maybe it is, I don't know, but I want you all to, when the next voting term comes up, voting season comes up, do us all a favor, do yourself a favor, and start looking up the judges in your counties and your cities, and start looking them up well before election time, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to take you a while to look these people up. There are so freaking many of them. I was, last election cycle, I felt really, really, really bad because I felt like I didn't do my part as a U.S. citizen, as an Arizona citizen. I really felt like I let down my people in my country, because I wasn't able to do the research that I needed to do. And the reason why I say this is so important is because crime is completely out of control right now. Law and order is completely out of control right now. And if we want to get things back under control, my opinion is we need to start with the judicial system. We need to start voting in magistrates and judges that are going to uphold the laws, and that they're going to start prosecuting people to the fullest extent of the law for the people who deserve that. Now, I get it if you're young and you fucked up and you did something stupid, and I get that because I was there. I was lucky when and where I grew up. I got multiple chances. I mean, I was never violent. I never did stupid things, never hurt people, never did stupid shit like that. But I had my issues. I didn't like to pay speeding tickets. So, I mean, I was young and dumb, but the system worked for me, and I worked through it and came out the other side a better person. But for example, here in Arizona, we had a person that intentionally took a big, I don't know, like a Ford F-250. It was a big truck. It was a big, at least a half-ton truck, and mowed down this big group of cyclists. There's probably like 30 or 4 cyclists, and he ran over a whole bunch of them, killed 2, and hospitalized 17 of them. Judge is giving him 5 years for killing 2 people. So, in my opinion, that's telling criminals that it's okay to go murder. Go ahead, kill people, run over people. Don't worry about it. You're not going to pay for it. I mean, that person, if that person's an illegal, which I'm not really sure, so I don't want to make that comment, but if that person is an illegal immigrant, alien, whatever term you want to use, that person needs to be deported immediately. I think anybody that's not I think anybody that is in our country illegally should not go to our prisons. They should go back to their country. That's how I feel about that, because me as a taxpayer, citizen, I don't understand why I should pay for another person's crime. So if that person commits a crime, they need to go back to their own country with that crime, and they need to go back to their own country and go in prison into their own country, not here. We should not be paying for that. That's just ludicrous. I don't understand why our system works that way. Honestly, I don't understand why our system does a lot of things that it does. And I get it. I get it. Younger people. I know when I was young, I didn't give a shit about politics. I didn't really think about voting. I didn't really think about all this crap. I was just too busy running around, being squirrely, and doing the things I was doing, and having fun and fishing, and 4-wheel driving and hanging out at the beach. And I was just too busy living life. But life today isn't like life was back then. Today, life is dangerous. It's completely dangerous. I mean, Jesus, you can't even go. You can barely walk down the street and go somewhere today without getting mugged. I mean, and in my state, that's crazy, because I would say, well, I wouldn't say, I know for a fact, everyone I know has at least one gun. And most people I know have about 6 or 7. Most people I know carry. And I'm thinking that's probably why our crime rate is pretty low, but you still can't control the people's that are just out of control, because it happens at odd hours and whatnot, whatever. But at any rate, get back to the topic, division. Don't let them divide us anymore. I don't know. Just because you're black or you're white doesn't mean you should hate each other. It doesn't mean that. Just because you agree with abortion or you disagree with abortion doesn't mean we should hate each other. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I wouldn't go out and hurt somebody, and I wouldn't talk shit to somebody who agrees with it. I mean, I would try to reason with them and let them see my point of view, and I would listen to their point of view, which I've done. And I still don't agree with it. So, but I respect them. I mean, I don't wish bad things on them. And the media, oh my God, what do you do with the media? I mean, stay away from it. That's all I can tell you is stay off the news channels on TV, because I'm really bad at that. I get into my cycles, and then I get too much negativity and just too much. There's just too much negativity on the news, and I get overloaded and I shut down, and I get smart and I go do other things like podcasting. But so let's stop the division. We can do that. It just takes you and me. Stop the division. We can do this together. Smile at your friends. Smile at people you don't know. Say hello. Treat each other well, and let's all work together to get rid of these criminals. Let's work together to put bad people away. Get them off our streets. Get them out of our society. We can't let the government do this to us. Don't listen to social media. Don't listen to mainstream media. Do what you know is right. All right. Well, that's today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I state, please leave some comments. It would be really nice. Subscribe, hit the like button. And I'd really love to hear some topics that you guys would like to talk about. I love doing research, especially if I'm given an assignment. I like that. But throw some comments down. I know y'all have shit to talk, so talk it. I'm all good with it. I cannot be offended. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.